Hello, it's orenjpiko here, your 2D escape from the 3D woes. For today's video, I am doing a drawing vlog from my illustration in the land of jam. For this drawing vlog, I'm just going to be drawing some strawberries. I brought my little strawberry dongo plushie. I'm pretty sure I got him in like a claw machine or something, but yeah, I'm going to be drawing some strawberries. You can stick around and watch me draw while I also talk about my art goals, my current art goals. So yeah, I'll just be discussing 6 things that I want to improve on. There's so many things I want to improve on, but I kind of summarized it into 6. So let's get started.
All right, so let's get into it. Number 1 is that I want art to become my full-time job. If you've watched my other videos, you already know this. I do want to do art full-time. If you haven't watched my other videos, that is a goal of mine. I'm currently working on, I don't know when this video will be up, but I'm currently working on a shop, an online shop, and that's like pretty much like all put together, where I'm going to sell art prints, and I have other ideas in mind. I think I want to do some stickers and some sticker sheets. Another goal I have, like with art being a full-time job, is that I do want to start making originals to sell as well on my online shop. I think that's something that I'm most excited about, but also I think I'm nervous about, and that's why, not that I'm putting it off, it's just I do think that like getting everything started is taking a lot of time. But once I have everything started, I really think like the ball's rolling, and I just want the ball to roll even faster. I think I've tried to make my peace many times with working like a full-time job, like non-art related, and just doing art as a hobby. And I've officially decided that no, it doesn't work for me. So I think art becoming my full-time job is one of the greatest things that I think I can achieve in my personal life. So it is something that I've truly decided that I'm giving my all, and I want to put all of my work into, all of my efforts. I want to change myself as a person as much as I can in a beneficial way so that I can achieve this goal in terms of like, having dealt with or dealing with like confidence issues and like self-esteem issues. And I think if I just let myself continue to be that way, I'll never achieve anything. So things that I've kind of just like let slide. Like I'm just like, oh, I'm like a gloomy person. I'm just like not a very confident person. If I ever do want to, which I do, want to achieve my dream of becoming a full-time artist, instead of just accepting those things and kind of like standing down, it's like, no, I am going to actively change these things, among other things, to help me achieve my goal of becoming a full-time artist. Sometimes I worry because I worry about my age, and I worry about, am I at this moment in my life spending too much time on this and just kind of missing out on other things? But it is something that I definitely know I will regret like 5 or 10 years down the road if I don't do anything about it. And I think, or not even 10, like just for the rest of my life, I'll think, like, what if I had tried to do it instead of just kind of settling into a job that I don't really care about or want to do? So that is definitely one of my goals, like having working, doing art as a full-time job, and I'm going to achieve it. I'm going to be very positive about it. On a bit of a lighter note, a goal I have as an artist, or an art goal that I have, is that I want to create more art outside. I want to, like, I feel like I'm very shy. I want to, and I don't like people looking at me. But I really do, like, I really admire and am envious of people who go like draw in cafes, or draw at the museum, or draw in the park. I did try drawing in the park once, but like my boyfriend and I kind of just went, like, we brought our dog and we had this little like tent thing. So I kind of just hid in the tent, and I could only draw like landscapes, as opposed to like going up to the cool things where like there were other people that I kind of actually wanted to draw. So I feel like even if I were to do it now, I don't know. I mean, you got to just try, I guess. So maybe like my first experience, kind of like the park, would not be like what I wanted, but if I keep doing it, maybe it's something that I could like get better at. It's kind of like when you're trying to approach like a cat and it's like, okay, getting a little closer, a little closer, a little closer, and now I can pet the cat. So maybe if I want to draw in a cafe or draw in a museum or draw something like really nice at a park, even if there's people around, maybe it's something that will take some practice. But I really do want to like just do like cafe drawings and like when I see like those traveling watercolor artist people, it just looks so cool. And I think it's something that I want to do. And I do think it broadens your perspective and it gives you different like subject matter and it can just inspire you to draw different things and to improve your skills. And I think what I would also like from it is that I think drawing outside or drawing in public would kind of help me to kind of get over that like hesitation because I don't like it's like I think when I'm at home, it's like if I want to hesitate, it's like okay, like I'm here by myself. I'll just go like read a book or watch an episode or go like have a snack or something because it's like I'm avoiding drawing this because I'm afraid of making a mistake. But I feel like if you're in public, of course you can like avoid doing something, but like you could just, I don't know, drink your drink or eat your food. But I mean, you don't have all day. So at some point, it's like you do have to kind of get on with it and draw what you're drawing. So I think that if I were to start drawing outside more, it would be more enjoyable, but it could also be something that would help me not hesitate as much and to build my confidence. So I really would like to draw in a cafe or a museum or a park or just like outside anywhere. I think maybe my next attempt would be to draw in a museum because I feel like drawing in a museum is very like common, I think. So it wouldn't be as weird. I know like I want to be like, well, I'm just gonna not worry about being weird and just do it. In my head I would say that, but like once I would get there, I'd be like, oh my God, like I don't want to, I don't want to pull out my stuff. I don't want people to like look at me. I don't want like anyone to ask me any questions and like then start to freak out. So I think maybe a safer bet to kind of like get a little bit closer to the cat would be to start at a museum and kind of see how it goes. But I do also feel that sometimes when I'm under like pressure, again, this pressure that I like create for myself, I wouldn't like draw as well because I feel like okay, like I need to like rush to like get it over with so people wouldn't look at me. So I definitely think me drawing in public spaces would would be a process. It's not going to be something that just happens right away. But everything is a process. So it is a process that I would like to begin. I want to draw art or create art outside in public spaces. And I'm going to maybe start with a museum. The third goal I have, my third art goal, is that I want to get better or I want to memorize more anatomy. And when I say that, I don't mean I want to memorize the names of things. I have not memorized. I'm like generally okay with anatomy for the most part. However, I have not memorized like a single muscle name. Memorization is not my forte. I think like I always found like science and like history quite interesting. However, I always felt that I could not excel in it unless I spent like, unless I wrote things like 20 times, like for an exam or something, like for science exams, I just would rewrite the things that we would have to memorize over and over and over and over. Or like for dates for history, I'd write them over and over and over and over. And then I'd write the exam and then I don't remember anything. So my goal is not to memorize the names of muscles because that would just be not very useful to me. Like if you do memorize them, like I think that's amazing. Like I think people who teach art, like I've seen like little videos here and there of people who offer like courses and they talk about like the names of the muscles and I'm like that is amazing and I totally admire that. However, that will never be me and I think that's why I don't think I would ever feel confident. I'm going off on a tangent here or like digressing a little. I don't think I would ever be great at teaching art to others because like I wouldn't be able to like talk about that. I'd be like, you know, the muscle that looks like, I don't know, an oval. So yeah, I don't think I'd be that useful as an art teacher. And also a lot of the times I think that sometimes I just kind of do things based on feeling and I wouldn't be able to explain like what that means. So I'm not interested in the names of the muscles. I'm more interested in memorizing more how things connect. I feel like I see pictures better anyway than words, like in my memory, in my mind. So, yeah, I want to just kind of have a better, a more like automatic understanding of like, oh yeah, this connects to that and that connects to that. Because I feel like in terms of my composition, like when I'm drawing something, for the most part, like when it's the initial composition, like the bodies and stuff, I don't really use like references. I most like, for example, in the land of jam.
I am so silly because I'm talking about the illustration that you see right on the screen. So you can look at what I'm talking about. It's right there, and I'm so sorry.
Like the guy in the swimsuit who's leaning back. In my mind, it's like that's just what I wanted to draw, and I used like the box method. I think there's another word for that, but I just used the box method, and I kind of used what I know to kind of draw out his body. Like I didn't look at a pose that looks like that. I just kind of like, okay, the box would look here, the box would be here, and then I kind of connected with my knowledge.
Just to be clear, I do have like pictures up and just like pictures in a book of the male body, but not in that specific pose that I'm trying to draw. So I'm trying to like use my imagination and what I know and like what I see of the male body to fill in how that pose would look. Just to be clear.
And I think I just want to, I don't know if it's possible. Maybe it's like a silly dream, but I think I just want to like have as much knowledge as I can to just draw whatever I can whenever I want. So I'm trying to fill my brain with as much knowledge of anatomy as I can so that I just know how everything connects right away. Is that a realistic dream? I'm not sure. But I kind of want to see if I can be an expert in the body and the muscles and the bones. Not really the bones, but you know what I mean, like how everything looks. I feel like I'm kind of on my way there, but I want to know more. So yeah, that's my goal for anatomy, not learning muscle names, but learning more about how everything connects so that I can draw things with ease. And I feel like I don't want to memorize everything out there that I want to draw ever. Like I feel like when I draw clothes, I definitely like look at pictures of clothes and like just for inspiration, but I think when it comes to drawing like bodies, I really want to have that knowledge in my mind. My fourth goal is to draw faster and with more confidence. And that kind of already connects a bit to what I was talking about previously. I think the more knowledge I have, the more practice I give myself where I am under pressure, like that would help me to draw faster and with more confidence. I think, especially considering like right now, currently, it's like I do have to draw whenever I have free time and I'm not like at work. The more I'm like kind of just like, I don't really, I'm not, I feel unsure about this. Like, I'm just gonna go take like a little break and then come back to it. I think now with trying to like set up the website, figure out a newsletter, like do all of these things, it's like time is of the essence and I can't just kind of wait around because I just feel nervous about making a mistake. So I do want to develop my confidence, improve my confidence, just draw faster because I feel better about what I know so that I can make the most use of my time. I think like sometimes when you think about artists, or like I think maybe when I was younger and I would think about like what artists do, they would just kind of be like, I don't know, in their cool like looking house and just kind of vibing out and just like making art. Like it just seemed like a very like relaxed, cool process. And maybe it is that way for some people. However, I think depending on your circumstances, like for me personally, it's like, okay, me trying to turn this into a full time career, it's like, I don't have time. I don't have time to just kind of like be in a cool, like, whenever I feel like it kind of moment, like when inspiration hits. And it's like, I don't have time to like wait for the inner motivation. Sometimes, like, you do have to force yourself to do it because if you want to like meet deadlines set by yourself, or if you want to do things on a certain timeline, like you have to do it. And I'm not saying that I don't want to be true to my feelings of inspiration, and I don't want to be true to my feelings in general when creating art. Um, I feel like you just kind of like, I definitely feel like I listen to myself when I feel inspiration. And I do listen to myself if I am very, like, very, very frustrated and I'm like, okay, it really isn't working right now in this moment. I do have to step away. I think I'm talking more about times where I'm just kind of being like silly times when I just want to take a break. And when I say silly, I mean, oh, silly because it's like, I don't think it's going to turn out right. I'm just going to like run away from it. Like times when I'm running away instead of actually facing what I need to do. And I do feel like I've gotten a bit better at that, but I definitely could improve because I do want to make most of the time that I have. I think, especially waiting so long to start back, like working towards, or just waiting so long to start this goal of mine of becoming a full-time artist. I don't think I have the luxury of time anymore, especially like at my age. um so I want to, I don't want to say I want to rush towards my goal, but I don't want to keep putting it off. And I feel like I've spent so many years putting it off that want to I don't have the luxury of time, and I don't want to just be wasteful with time anymore because you never know how much like time you have and what life will bring your way. So I'm not trying to make myself miserable by constantly like forcing myself in a way that's where it's not enjoyable, but I don't want to be lazy or to be fearful and just kind of run away from things in the moment because it doesn't, because it doesn't feel good. So I do want to start trying faster and with more confidence so that I can accomplish more and achieve more and be closer and closer towards my goal. Another goal, or my fifth art goal that I have, is that I want to get better at backgrounds. I definitely feel over the last few years I've gotten a lot better. However, obviously there's room for improvement. Um, in terms of backgrounds, I want to get better at doing more like abstract backgrounds in the sense of like, for example, my first piece, no, my first, or my first big illustration, my first 11 by 17 illustration, like called Stars. I was like really proud of myself for doing like the stars in the background. Um, I mean, is it like the best thing anyone has ever seen? No, but to me it was like a bit of an accomplishment and I was very happy with like how the background came out. So I want to get better at doing those kinds of backgrounds that are a bit more like abstract, like not like, oh, a classroom or a grocery store. So yeah, those kinds of artistic backgrounds. But I do want to get better at more concrete backgrounds, like this is a grocery store background, this is a park background, this is a classroom background. I do find them very, 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 very difficult, as well as time consuming. And not time consuming, it's like, oh, like I just want to get it over with, but like you really have to be patient. And I think patience is something that I struggle with. And because I think I have the most experience in drawing like bodies and faces, I can be a lot faster at that than drawing backgrounds. I think jumping back to my last goal of drawing faster and with more confidence, I think where I hesitate the most and where I slow down the most is on backgrounds because I feel like it's something that I don't have as much experience in. Because like even as a kid and like as like a teenager and like now, I always like just focused on drawing like people. I love drawing people. I love drawing characters. I love drawing faces. And like the background was just always like, as a kid, it was like, okay, the sun in the corner and the tree and some grass. And then when I got older, it was just more like whenever I could avoid a background. As an adult, I think I've been consciously trying to draw them more, but they are a beast, I think. I think in the same way that like as a kid I loved drawing people, I'm sure there were some kids who loved drawing the background. maybe you're out there. I don't know. You tell me. And yeah, I think maybe it's kind of like a reverse struggle. Like the people who love drawing like backgrounds and like maybe like flowers and like foliage and those kinds of things. Maybe you've become like quite skilled at doing that, but then it takes you more effort to draw a person. Whereas like for me, it's like drawing a person is quite easier than drawing like some trees and flowers. I do like drawing flowers, but I 100,000 billion% think that I could be better at drawing like flowers. So, that being said, I mean, I try to work on everything all the time, but I really do want to get better at like drawing like a very nice like scene where whether it's like again a room or a park or like because I want to be able to bring my ideas to life. I do have like some books where like I've practiced like doing perspective and stuff, and like there's like things like that it teaches you like perspective as I just mentioned, and like tips on drawing like buildings and like whatever. But it's one of those things where it's like you just have to keep doing it and you have to keep practicing. So I don't know, maybe like going back to my second goal of drawing art outside, maybe that would kind of help me get better at drawing backgrounds. But at the end of the day, like it is something that I just have to do more and more and more of. I do feel like that since creating art, like since kind of starting my YouTube channel and like creating art from that moment to now, like starting with my stars illustration, and at this point I think In the Land of Jam is the one I have most recently. I definitely would say that like my background drawing has improved, but obviously there is a lot more room for improvement. And that's why it is a goal of mine to kind of get better at backgrounds, whether it be an abstract kind of artsy background or a more like explicit like place that exists, like a theme. I think it would be so cool to draw a theme park. I think that would be so difficult, but I want to, maybe that could be like an illustration idea, like something in a theme park, like with roller coasters and a Ferris wheel and a merry-go-round. I would love to draw a merry-go-round. I think it would take me 1,000 years, but yes, I want to get better at doing all of these things. And my final goal, obviously not my final goal in life. I have like a million little goals here and there, but I can't tell you everything. I might be talking forever. But the final goal that I find most noteworthy, I guess, would be to learn more about history and mythology so that it can kind of help feed my inspiration and kind of give me more ideas for my art in general. Um, like there's a lot of anime and manga that I enjoy that have to do with like history and mythology. Like for example, as I've mentioned, like it's on my website. I don't know if my website's up yet, but it's in one of my videos. I really do like Natsume's Book of Friends, and that has a lot to do with like spirits and like yokai, and there's another word for them that they use. But just yeah, like spirits and stuff in general. Like I really enjoy origami. Um, and I feel like a lot of these are based on like for example, like Noragami, like actual gods, and like Natsume's Book of Friends, like like creatures, mythological creatures that are actually part of Japanese culture. So I think that learning about them more, or not even just like Japanese culture, but just learning about mythology in general, I think can give you a great arsenal of inspiration that you can use in whether it's stories, even though I'm not like doing comics at the moment, or just like an illustration, like what is going on, what is the lore of this character, like what is the world that they live in. And I think kind of educating myself in that way would really help inform my art and really help inspire my art. I actually did get two books, like these were a while back, and I honestly need to get on reading them. I really like I have to work on my time management because I try to manage like all the stuff that I have to do, but I think I need to start making like devote time to, I don't know, maybe I'll call it like my art education time, whether it's like books or shows, but maybe more like informative, like more like maybe it's like a history documentary, or like for example the books that I'm going to talk about. I got like a handbook of Japanese mythology, and a handbook of Chinese mythology. I got the Japanese mythology because, like, for example, like the animes that I mentioned earlier, like especially like Natsume's Book of Friends and Mushishi. I don't know if this talks about like the gods, like I don't remember the names. Like I know there's like the the god people pray for education, and there's the god people pray for money. I don't remember their names at the moment. I don't know if this talks about that, but I think that would be cool as well. I'll insert a picture. But I really want to read this book, and I think it could greatly inform my art and give me some inspiration, and also to better understand like what I watch and what I read. So I thought that would be really cool. And like for the Chinese mythology one, I have read a few novels that kind of talk about um different characters and different, not characters, look for the word, but different creatures in Chinese mythology. And I've read stuff about like gods as well. And I think it would, to better understand and also for inspiration as well, I think that would be really cool. And I think like learning about history would be like not just Japanese history, but just like history in general. But in terms of like anime and stuff, like I do enjoy like ones about like samurai, like for example, Gintama or the Elusive Samurai. So like knowing those stories are so good, it makes me want to just learn about history in general, whether it's Japanese history or any kind of history, because obviously, like, those do have ties to things that have actually happened. So I think becoming more knowledgeable about world history, any kind of history, I just like learning in general, like having more knowledge under your belt, I think will always help you, will always help inform what you create. And I do think I need to spend more time just building my bank of knowledge and learning about all kinds of history. Though I do find like in watching those anime, I think learning about like the samurai and the Edo period and stuff would be really cool too. So maybe I will like look for a book that can kind of, or like a video or a documentary or anything. I think overall, I just want to increase my knowledge. I think, like, I know it sounds cheesy, but like, knowledge is power. It's better to like learn things about anything than it is to just not. So, and I think when I look at anime and manga that I find like very intriguing and the storyline is like absolutely wonderful, I think a lot of them do like are inspired by like real life folklore or real life mythology or like actual historical events. So I do want to expose myself to more things, and I do think the more you expose yourself, the more things you expose yourself to and the more knowledge that you have, I think the better art you can create, the more you can connect with people, and the more you can inspire people, and I think the more you can feel like just feel something about your art and maybe help others to feel something towards your art as well. So yeah, I think one of my big goals is to start just informing myself more about anything and everything that I can. But yeah, those are my 6 major art goals at the moment. I'm gonna work hard as I can to achieve them. But if you would like to see how this illustration turned out, I do have the art chit chat on my channel where I go through just kind of the lore, the sketches, like my fashion choices for these characters. So please make sure you check that out. I want to thank you so much for watching and for sticking around. Hopefully, there was something you found that connected to you, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you so, so much. Bye.